أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى إن سعيكم لشتى فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى وأما من بخل واستغنى وكذب بالحسنى فسنيسره للعسرى وما يغني عنه ماله إذا تردى إن علينا للهدى وإن لنا للآخرة والأولى فأنذرتكم نارا تلظى لا يصلاها إلا الأشقى الذي كذب وتولى وسيجنبها الأتقى الذي يؤتي ماله يتزكى وما لأحد عنده من نعمة تجزى إلا ابتغاء وجه ربه الأعلى ولسوف يرضى. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث.
لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا ما بعد. My respected brothers, elders, mothers and sisters in Islam, khawaatin bhi hai na, sun rahe. Respected mothers and sisters in Islam, Allah Rabbul Alameen has blessed us all that we have come together for such a program. Whether it's a youth retreat or give it another name or whatever the case might be, coming together for the deen of Al-Islam, for the deen of Allah Rabbul Alameen, coming and listening to something, hearing something, trying to better understand about the Quran and Sunnah, trying to better understand about the deen of Al-Islam. This is the great blessing of Allah. Just to try, just to come forward, just to spend some time for this. We are given tawfiq by Allah. We should make shukr upon this. Alhamdulillah. I've been given a topic. Before going into my topic, just to mention that I can say whatever here. I can give you all the proofs, research work, references of books. But until you are given the ability by Allah Rabbul Alameen, you will not accept it. That's any human being. Unless Allah gives them that understanding of deen and that understanding of acceptance, He will not accept. You can give, the Quran is there. Is it lacking any proof? Still many people do not accept the Quran. So before I start even the talk, we should all make dua to Allah that Allah gives us the tawfiq to understand this. And Allah make it easy for us to accept the truth. This topic really doesn't need any discussion, because it was understood on its own. The concept of hijab is something that is understood on its own. You know the fitna, you know the situation between men and women, you know what happens when there's ikhtilat and gathering, you know what happens when a look falls on a ajnabiya, a strange woman, on her face. What type of temptations come into the men, what type of temptations come into the women. All of these things are known already in human nature, human beings. So hijab and niqab or anything else of this matter, we really didn't have to explain it and give proofs of it. This was something that was understood already. But because some people come in the ummah and they say certain things that confuse people, and that happens in every stage, every period. And that's why Muhammad ibn Sirin rahimahullah said a very beautiful thing. This is his quote that Imam Muslim rahimahullah has quoted in his Muqaddimah of Sahih Muslim, that this knowledge is deen. أَمَّنْ تَأْخُذُونَ دِينَكُمْ. Look at who you take your deen from. This is a very important thing. This is a very important amana. This is deen. This is the knowledge that will benefit you in the hereafter. So look at who you take your deen from. So that's why, if we did that, we wouldn't be confused today. But anyway, we are in a situation where we are confused. We don't know what is hijab, what is niqab, what is awra, what Surah An-Nur is saying, what Surah Al-Ahzab is saying. First of all, there are three different things here that I want to mention. One is, the Arabic word for it is awra. The word awra actually means the portion that you're supposed to cover at all times. And to leave it open is called kashif. To leave that part open. Kashiful awra. And this portion is supposed to be covered at all times for the men and women. Now for the men, the awra is that is supposed to be covered all the time. Even at home, even when you're home, you're supposed to cover this. Not that you're in your house, you can walk around like this, kashiful awra, no. What is supposed to be covered for the men is from beneath the navel to the knees. The Hanafiya include the knees, the Shafi'iyya don't. This is the difference of opinion between the Hanafiya and the Shafi'iyya, whether the knees are included or not in the awra. But up to the knees, both of them are unanimous upon. And beneath the navel it starts from. This portion for the men have to be covered all the time. Whether you're home, whether you're praying, whether you go outside, whether you're alone, anyone. For the women, the awra, this is for a free woman in Islam, the awra is her entire body except her face and her hands up to the wrist and her feet up to the ankle. Yani the ankle should be covered also, and up to the wrist the cloth should be also. So the hands, palms, hands, fingers, the two hands up to the wrist, and the feet, up to the ankle, the ankle should be covered. This two limbs and the face, this is not awra. Other than that, the entire body of the woman is awra. The free woman in Islam. There is something about slave women that's different, I won't go into that. This is the free woman in Islam, okay? What we have today. Now, this is the awra, which means that this is something she's supposed to cover at all times. Whether she is home, whether she is with her maharim, whether she is in front of her husband, whether she is with her father, whether she is with her uncles that are maharim, doesn't matter. Or she is praying. This is supposed to be covered. If she prays and these portions are not covered, what I just said, her entire body except these three places, if it's not covered properly, then there will be a problem in her prayer. Then it depends on how much she left open and for how long. The fuqaha have given details about that. That if she have left open 1/4 of the limb and 3 times subhanallah passes like this, the details are given. But anyway, that's awra. We all understood what is awra for the men and women? Now in regards to, this was awra. So right there it should tell you that what is awra in Islam, what the woman is supposed to cover all the time. The verse in Surah Al-Ahzab that came first, unanimously, according to Mufti Muhammad Shafi rahmatullah alayhi in Ahkamul Quran, he has mentioned this, that it is unanimous of the Mufassirun that this verse of Al-Ahzab came first, that talks about the walima. That is when the first verse came down in regards to somewhat of hijab. Okay? Walima of Zainab radiyallahu anha. What happened was, people were waiting, and they were waiting for food to come. And our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam became hard for him, mashaqqa upon him. So our Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam felt haya, he couldn't say anything to them. But Allah Rabbul Alameen revealed the verse. and told them that Allah doesn't feel haya. Our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is feeling this haya and shame, but Allah doesn't feel this. And Allah told them not to stay like this, not to first of all go to someone's house without invitation. That's a prohibition. And then you go there, and if you go there, you wait there. You haven't been invited for food, you wait there so that food will come. That's another thing that is taught to us in the verse, not to do. You know, these are first different ahkam that are taught in the verse, in Al-Ahzab. And what is told to us in Surah Al-Ahzab is that when you ask, the men and women should have separation of a curtain between them, and the men should ask from behind the curtain, and the women should answer from behind the curtain. These are strange men and women. And this, Allah Rabbul Alameen says, is athhar, and more purified for their qulub, both men and women. Now this is the first verse, first section that came in regards to hijab. The first hijab is now just curtain between the men and women. Just strange men and women cannot just mix with one another like that. They should ask from behind the curtain. And other ahkam were mentioned in that verse also, like we cannot, no one can marry the azwajul mutahharat. You know, no one can marry the ummahatul mu'mineen. These, the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That was also mentioned. But anyway, this was the first thing that came down in regards to hijab. This is unanimous. Exactly what time it came, there is difference of opinion, but this is the first portion. Then after that, there are a few other places. One talks about outside, and the other one talks about inside. Now, I explained to you what is awrah. Now understand what is hijab and niqab. In our urf, right? Hijab in Arabic language just means a curtain. Niqab means a covering. But in our urf, hijab means to cover the head, and niqab means to cover the face. This is how we understand hijab and niqab, at least today, right? Now in regards to hijab, it is clear, and this is something that the entire ummah has accepted. Covering her entire body except these three limbs, like I told you, that is not only hijab, that is actually awrah. And hijab would be, see, what happens is the woman covers her limbs, and she wears loose clothes because she's supposed to wear loose clothes even when she prays, you know. But sometimes still, something can be shown when she's walking around or getting up, sitting and all that. So hijab is something that will be covering her hair properly and would be covering her front with the extra cloth to cover the front, so that her front portion will not be exposed. Her size will not be exposed. This is mentioned in the Quran. Allah Rabbul Alameen says that when they go outside, they should not do like this and go out like they used to do in Jahiliyyah, in ignorance, when they used to go out with exposing these parts. They should not go out like that, tabarruj al-jahiliyyah. Instead, they should go out in manner of haya and loose clothes and covering these portions specifically. So now hijab is something that is more so than the awrah, more so as a cloth. Now in regards to niqab, the covering the face, if you take Sayyiduna Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu's tafsir, he says in Surah An-Nur, under illa ma dhahara minha, that entire body of the woman has to be covered. Allah says, except what is apparent from it. Illa ma dhahara min, except what becomes apparent on its own. See, the woman, what it means is when she is doing some work, some portions automatically cannot be hidden, becomes apparent. So Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu an, one of the greatest Sahaba, Al-Dhahabi has mentioned him from the greatest scholars amongst the Sahaba, He says the tafsir of illa ma dhahara minha, that entire body is covered by the woman when she goes outside. But then something will be apparent anyway still, right? Even if she covers herself with the black veil, even if she covers herself with a cloth on top, when she goes outside, can people see the cloth? Can they see the outside garment? Of course they can see the black veil, right? They can see a person walking. That is what is meant illa ma dhahara minha. Yani she has to cover the entire body, but when she goes outside, yani this much is allowed, that when she has to go outside, then this portion can be seen. Yani the black covering that is outside. This is what he says. So there is no such thing as uncovering the face. Uncovering the face, according to Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu's tafsir, would come in when she is inside the house with her maharim, or she's with her husband, or she's making her salah, those types of situations. That is when she could uncover her face, and that would be like the aura that I talked about in the beginning. But hijab and niqab will include the entire body, including the face, and also the hands and the feet. Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anh says the hands also and the feet, the entire body. This is his tafsir. Illa ma dhahara minha, the black cloth that is seen outside. Now some people, it's hard for us to swallow this, right? The Sheikh is saying like this, and it's hard for us to swallow this pill. That this is too difficult. What about those shuyukh or those people that say about uncovering the face? What I want you to do is, listen, anytime you have differences, right, in the ummah, this is a ruling I'm going to give you today. It's something that you should do all the time now. Any difference you have, whether it's difference in regards to hijab and niqab, difference in regards to covering the face, difference in regards to zakah, who is mustahiqeen of zakah, who gets the zakah, who doesn't, if you can use the zakah money in the masjid or not, another issue, right? Or, whatever the situation may be. Go back to Khairul Qurun. Khairul Qurun are the three periods: Sahaba, Tabi'in and Atba'ut Tabi'in. They understood deen better than any one of us. They were closer to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course it's Sahaba, and then after that Tabi'in and Atba'ut Tabi'in. They knew the deen more than any of us, and they had more knowledge and more taqwa and more righteousness than any of us. As a group. Individually people can differ, but as a group, I mean. Go back to them, and if they understood what is being said, then follow that. Then you will be on the right path. Okay? And if there's differences between them, then those differences won't harm them. Because there were differences in Khairul Qurun. When you go back to Khairul Qurun, first of all you look at Sahabiyat. Go look at the history of Sahabiyat. Hayat, their life. Hayat is written about the Sahaba and Sahabiyat. Books have been written. You can go back and look at those Sahabiyat. And look at their life and see if they covered themselves fully or not. It's not one example. Umar radiyallahu anh could tell by the size of the person, of the woman, who is who. But not by the face. That shows right there. Aisha radiyallahu anha, when she was laying down on her face uncovered, when Safwan came and said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, Aisha radiyallahu anha quickly covered her face. That's another situation. In Hajj, when the face is supposed to be not touched with the cloth, actually the Hanafiya say, in Hajj, Ahkamul Hajj, that the ihram of the woman is in her face. This is what the hadith says, and the Hanafiya say, explain it by saying that the cloth is not supposed to touch the face. Okay? The cloth is not supposed to, when you cover, the cloth touches the face. This is not supposed to happen. So keep it uncovered. Or do it in such a manner that the cloth is far away from your face so it doesn't touch the face. Different things are written by the ulama how to do it. But this is the main thing, that the cloth should not touch the face. Aisha radiyallahu anha, now that right there in itself is another thing for us to understand. Because in Hajj, Ahkamat are given opposite of the normal situation. Ihram is different from the normal situation. Normally Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wore sewn clothes. Normally Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam covered his head. In Hajj, he wore 2 pieces of cloth, not sewed, and he uncovered his head in the state of ihram. See again, things that are opposite from your normal habits. So for women also, if they are supposed to, the ihram is in their face, that shows the normal habit. But that's not a proof, that's just for ta'id, for support. I'm getting to the incident where Aisha radiallahu anha was making tawaf with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is what she says, that when we would make tawaf, we would keep our faces uncovered, but when the strange men would come in front of us, we would cover our faces. Again, a proof of covering the face. So if you go back and see, not only azwaj, al-azwaj, yani the wives, the noble wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ummahatul mu'mineen, not only they, al-azwaj al-mutahharat, not only they covered their faces and their entire body, but even the other sahabiyat did this. And the main thing in this is fitna. What is the concept of hijab, the concept of niqab, the concept of all of this? What is that? What is the inner self, inner meaning? What is the deeper meaning? What are we trying to stop ourselves from? The fitna. And in that, the most important thing is the face. The main thing is the face. That is the place of jamal. That is the place of beauty. That's what you look at when you go to marry. What are you going to look at? You're going to look at the face, right? Or are you going to look at the hands? You're going to look at the hands? Huh? You're not answering me. You might look at the hands. You're thinking, huh? No one's going to look at the finger, the hands, and see how. They're going to look at what? The face. Because face is the place of beauty. That's why even Maliki scholars today, this is how they explain the situation. They say that initially the face is not something that has to be covered. This is what they say. But because there's fitna today, because of the situation where people will fall into wrong things today, so face should be covered today also. This is what some of the Maliki scholars of today say. Similarly, some of the Hanafi scholars say the same thing. So the main thing is about the face. Now I will tell you, Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, he did differ from Ibn Masud radiyallahu an in the tafsir of illa ma dhahara minha. He has a different opinion. I'll tell you the different opinion also. Okay? But don't take the different opinion for your own likeness, because you want to take that. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma says, should I tell you or should I shouldn't tell you? I don't know. All the smirks I see on the faces now, I don't think I should tell you. Now you're like, now I got it, Illa ma dhahara minha. Okay? Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma says that what it means is that she has to cover her entire body except the face, the hands up to the wrist. Look at this brother, he's already laughing. I didn't even finish yet. The face, the hands up to the wrist, and the feet up to the ankle. He says that illa ma dhahara minha is this. Yani this can be left open. Other than that, everything else has to be covered. Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma says this. Okay? But I explained to you about awrah in the beginning. Okay? And I told you that we should not have misconceptions between the awrah and what is hijab and what is niqab. Because verses are different. In Al-Ahzab, in the beginning, the walima, when it is being talked about, this is just talking about a curtain in between. That's all. Later on, another verse is talking about hijab. And another verse is talking about awrah. So these are different verses of the Quran. Whether it's An-Nur, whether it's Al-Ahzab, different places, but different verses. We should understand that. Secondly, even if you take Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma to say this, that okay, he meant to go outside, that a woman can go outside with the face uncovered. Okay? Just take for argument's sake. I'm not saying this, that this is what he meant. But just take for argument's sake that Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma said this. That you can go outside with your face uncovered. The women can. Illa ma dhahara minha means this. And this is not only talking about the awrah, it's talking about going outside, hijab and niqab also. You tell me, if there is a situation, okay, of fitna, if there is a situation that men are falling into zina, or women are falling into temptations, and wrong things are happening qabla nikah, and the entire nasab is being hampered like this, and zina is all over the place, fawahish is all over the place. This was going to happen anyway, because our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that there are, out of the four ashraf that he mentioned in Sahih Muslim's narration, one of them was that zina will be apparent all over. Yazhara zina, zina will be all over the place. This was going to happen anyway. If the way to stop it is covering the face, then even if there wasn't any proof from Quran and Sunnah, just take for argument's sake, there is no proof from Quran and Sunnah, the only thing is that this is the way to stop the fitna, then that is something that becomes wajib. That becomes compulsory also. Because to do haram, just like to do haram, to fall into haram is wrong, to do those things that lead you to haram is wrong also. Yani, those things are haram also that will lead you to haram. This is called Saddul Abwab, Saddul Dhara'i. Malikiya emphasize on this, Hanafiya emphasize on this, Malikiya especially emphasize on it. But Hanafi also emphasize on it, to stop the things before it happens. So even if there was a situation that there is no proof at all for covering the face, and Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma allowed it, that women can go out with their faces open. If that is the thing that is causing the fitna today, that's not the only thing I'm saying, one of the things. And the other thing is men looking at them. Men should be covering their gaze, but most of the time men don't. Or even the one look is dangerous. See, one look you're allowed, right? Can we talk about looks now? Brothers, come on, I don't know if I can talk about this with this youth here, huh? I don't know, there might be a couple of uqud of nikah tonight, huh? Listen, one look is permissible, right? One unintentional look, not an intentional look, that you hear the woman behind you, you know it's a woman, or I'm just turning around to see if it's my sister. No, brother, it's not your sister, you left your sister at home. Okay? You know your sister's voice, you have been with her 20 years. It's not your sister. Do not say like that. Alright? You can make your nafs mutmain on that, but it's not your sister, or it's not your mother. One unintentional look is permissible, because it is something, it's forgiven, because it's something that you cannot save yourself from sometimes. Sometimes it happens that the woman might be, covering her face, and it might be something the cloth fell from her face, or the wind blew the cloth away, something like that can happen, and unintentionally the muttaqi, the person, mashallah, salihin, sitting in front of me, one of their looks fell on her. And immediately they removed their look, because this is what they're supposed to do, not that keep their look on there. One brother asked me, he said, Sheikh, can the person keep looking? One look. As long as it's not a second look, keep looking? No, you cannot keep looking. So, one unintentional look, for a split second, this was forgiven. Alright? But even that one unintentional look is so dangerous. Even that one unintentional look sometimes can destroy the human being. I'll give you an example from hadith. Sahih Muslim's narration. I know Mufti Sahib already showed me the time also. We're running out of time. This topic I wish I could talk about it more, because I had some more things to say. But next time inshallah. Another time. It comes in one hadith in Sahih Muslim also. Our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was walking one day. By accident, his eyes fell on a ajnabiyya, a strange woman. He went home and had husband-wife relationship with Zainab radiyallahu anha, one of the ummahatul mu'minin. And then he said, to teach the ummah, that when unintentional sight falls on the strange woman like this, you should go home and do the same, because your wife has the same thing that ajnabiyya has, in other words, right? Because this thing builds up, that one look will build something up inside. Slowly, you don't know what can happen after 1 week. These things lead to, at the end, adultery or fornication. So our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this incident happened during the day. That's why Nawawi says that even husband-wife relationship, this is permissible during the day, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it during the day also. This incident happened during the day. But what I'm trying to say is that, see, our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was athhar of this ummah. His qalb is the most pure. We cannot think of anything about our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Can we? No. If Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is doing this, what is he doing this for? He's teaching us. Because this one look is that dangerous. So to avoid this, of course we are told also to cover our eyes. Keep it down. But still you can look here and there. Right? And one look can come. That's why the women are told to cover themselves also. And they are also told in Surah An-Nur to cover their eyesight. Men are supposed to cover their eyesight. Women are also supposed to cover their eyesight. This new thing in one masjid, they asked me recently that can the women, they don't want to put the curtain, they want to see the imam. They want to see the imam. So I told them, I said, but the imam doesn't want to see, imam should not see them, right? And I said that this is also prohibition in Surah An-Nur. Women are supposed to cover their eyes also, not only the men. This is prohibition. And all those incidents that talk about whether Aisha radiallahu anha saw, or some other Ummatul Mu'mineen, spend some time with Ibn Maktoum. All those incidents are answered by the ulama. Some of them are before hijab's verse came down. Some of them are situations of need, or situations where Ibn Maktoum could not see. All these kind of situations. Understand? So we have to understand these points validly, in a right manner. May Allah Rabbul Alamin give us tawfiq. I was given till 9:20 I think. And time is up. May Allah give us tawfiq to make amal on what we have said and discussed. If anyone has any questions about this, if anything is still in confusion or misconception is still there, they can contact me, they can ask me later on. And the best work on this is done by one of our recent scholars. One of our recent scholars, the Grand Mufti of Pakistan, he was, rahimahullah, Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Shafi, rahmatullah alayh. He has Ahkamul Quran. Ahkamul Quran are written by many of the ulama of the past. One Ahkamul Quran was written under the guidance of Hakimul Ummah by few scholars. One of those volumes is by Mufti Muhammad Shafi, rahimahullah, Arabic language. And he talks about this in that volume of his, and he talks about this in detail. And he answers all the misconceptions and questions. That will be one of the best things to see, because he gives the khulasa of the kalam of what that is for the ulama though. And then we can turn to the ulama and ask them for if we have any mazid misconception or wrong ideas. May Allah Rabbul Alamin give us tawfiq. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.